Hi, everyone. So when I first started posting on social media, one of the things I wanted to do was try to help people think about investing in business in general. But I also wanted to show you guys how I actually kind of do some of the stuff that I do, as opposed to just kind of giving you my conclusions. But I was really struggling with a good way of doing that, and I think I may have found one. So I kind of just wanted to jump on here and show you guys a little bit closer, kind of how I go about finding new investment ideas. And this is just one of many different ways. So this particular website is called Insider Monkey, and all they do is basically aggregate data that is required to be filed with the SEC. And there's a bunch of firms that do this. Another one is called Whale Wisdom. Insider Monkey is free. I will say that there's one caveat with that, is that there's a lot of ads, and then sometimes the ads can be slightly intrusive. But other than that, it works pretty well if you want to try and find some new investment ideas. So I'm going to show you quickly, kind of how I use it. So I'm going to use Apple as an example because everybody knows it. So if you go in and type Apple and click on Apple, here's one of these ads. At the very top, it's going to have these hedge fund holdings, insider purchases, insider sales, institutional holdings, 13D filings. I'm not going to get into them all, but maybe at some other point I'll explain how you can use some of the other ones. Hedge fund holdings is the ones that I'm interested in, and they have these charts. This shows you the number of hedge funds that they've identified that have positions in it. So there's at this point there's 161, and then what's happening to the share price. So it's kind of just an easy way to see how many hedge funds total own Apple as part of their portfolio and what's happened to the share price over a certain period of time. So the one I like to use is hedge fund holdings. So I'm going to click on there. Berkshire Hathaway obviously is a conglomerate, but it's really important in the investment world, so they throw it into the hedge fund kind of community. And they own about 905 million shares of Apple. It represents about 50% of their portfolio. Now, when you're talking about hedge funds in particular, what is being reported is called 13F securities. Not all their assets necessarily need to be reported in 13F. So these numbers this may not be accurate in terms of what the amount of money they manage. But it is a good kind of starting point. As a quick aside, I'm going to show you Citadel here has a call and a put. They're reporting the options. I don't know 100% what they're doing. They own the stock, I believe, somewhere further down. It's a part of their portfolio as well, right here. My guess is they're probably doing some sort of straddle or cover call position, or trying to lock in a particular price movement. I kind of ignore the call and put option information because it's just not my area of expertise, and it's not something that I think you can put too much weight into, really trying to figure out what they do. Because some of the smaller firms will put in puts as a hedge against some particular risk, either market risk or risk in a particular name. So they may hedge put in a call on Apple if they think tech stocks are overvalued because Apple calls might be cheaper than doing it another way. But again, that's probably way too much information. So what I like to do, and I thought I'm going to show you where this data is coming from because I use a lot of the original data as well. But if you go to the sec.gov website, you should come to this landing page. And if you click on filings, you can go to company filing search. And in this, we're going to look up Berkshire Hathaway. And here's Berkshire Hathaway. So we're going to click on Berkshire Hathaway. And what we're looking for is a filing, because there's going to be a ton of filing, called a 13F, and it's right in the middle here. And it's quarterly report. And this is the quarterly report where they have to list all the different securities that they own as of this filing date. So there's this cover letter, which is the first one. And it's going to show you the total dollar value of Apple stock, total dollar value of the overall portfolio, which is around $347 billion. And I will say that just recently they changed this reporting, the SEC changed this reporting rule to where they now round it to the nearest dollar. It used to be rounded to the thousands, so you would only see this number before in the 461. If you were to go back and look at old 13Fs, the numbers will look a little different. I will also tell you that 13Fs are as of the quarter that there's a period ended. So this is the quarter ended as of 12/31/2023, and this is the most recent 13F. So they could be changing the portfolio right now. Berkshire in particular will file sometimes to have a confidential treatment, meaning with the SEC, meaning they're allowed to buy or sell a particular stock if they think it's going to impact the market, and the SEC sometimes will grant it. And I believe that they are doing that right now. So they're buying some stock that is not actually going to be on this 13F. and they would have had to to report it, but they're getting permission to enter into position or sell. So if you come back and let's see, we're going to go back, click on the information table. This is all the different stocks they own. So right here is going to be Apple. This column right here is the number of shares. This column will be the dollar value as of this 13F filing. And in case someone's wondering, I'm not 100% sure why they report it separately. I believe in theory that it's either they're required to. I don't think so. I think it's a data dump. And I think that because Berkshire has a bunch of different subsidiaries, they have a variety of different insurance companies that they may each individually own a certain amount of shares of Apple. And maybe it's just easier to dump it in this way, because they have to report the total amount they own. So they may have, Geico might own a certain amount, and another insurance company, National Indemnity, for example, might own their own Apple shares. I don't know if that's the reason, but that in case someone's asking. So if you were to add up the total number of shares in this column for Apple, it's going to match this number inside of Monkey. Okay. So how can you use it to kind of find new investment ideas? So the way I use it is, let's say I have a stock that I really like or did really well. I will come in here and kind of see who are the holders, and I will kind of look around and see if there are particular funds that may be specialized in that industry. And then I will go into their portfolio and kind of see if maybe they have anything interesting that I might want to take, look at and deeper, kind of do a deep dive into that particular stock. So I'm going to show you a couple, kind of ones I don't know, because I think it's kind of interesting. Like, I don't really know. 0.72 is big. I don't know this impacts. Let's click on impacts. So they will kind of, have a biography if they have information. Sometimes they don't. This particular firm, has about 24 billion in 13F assets. So when you go to this 13F area right here, you can click see all. This is all the different stocks that they own. And you can select by the largest percentage of their portfolio, because its value, it's going to be the same. So I don't know a lot of these companies. Microsoft, obviously, I know. So these are different ones they own. You can also click in here. So for example, on Microsoft, you can see they've owned it at least from Q3 of 2019. Here's what the price is doing. They've been buying as the price has gone up. They bought more on this kind of dip, and looks like they've sold off a little bit. Not too substantial. So again, if you don't know, if you're looking for a new idea and you're like, I really want, something, that is similar to a particular company, this is a good way to do it. Or if you just want to learn about different companies, that manage money on an institutional basis, this is another good way of finding, all the different firms. Like, there's so many in here that I still have no clue who they are. For example, I don't know this particular one. They manage 1.5. So we go to 13F. Looks like they have a lot of big name companies. It looks like they're doing a couple calls. Yeah, so this is just one of those ways you can look at it. Also, I will show you real quick. You can click on up here on this activity, and this will show you, who's been, these are the new buyers of this. So it's a new position for them. If you click on the reverse, these are people that sold out of Apple recently, sold out their position in totality. And, I think this is kind of an interesting way of finding, new ideas. Also, Yahoo Finance will provide it under holders, but I don't like that they only list the top ones, and you can't really go through, anything else if you find, some sort of, you want to dive in more into their portfolio. So I hope that helps.